숨쉬듯이 영어.
In this video, we'll explore essential English phrases for mastering conference calls. We will cover 5 key areas: starting the meeting, requesting opinions and asking questions, problem solving and requesting support, mid-meeting summaries and conclusions, and ending the meeting and expressing gratitude. Whether you're leading the call or participating, these phrases will help you communicate more effectively. Let's dive in. Situation 1. Starting the meeting. Let's initiate today's session by reviewing the quarterly earnings outlined in our agenda. Shall we kick things off with a round of introductions? Please state your name and department. Before we dive deeper, can anyone confirm if the tech support is on standby for this call? I trust everyone has received the pre-meeting documents. Let's get down to brass tacks and start with our main discussion points. If we're all on board, I'll begin by outlining the scope of today's discussion. Let's cut to the chase and discuss our strategies for the upcoming quarter. To pave the way, I'd like to go over last week's action items. Before we jump in, does anyone need to flag any urgent issues? As a heads up, please keep comments concise so we can cover all items on our agenda. Let's hit the ground running with a brief recap of where we left off last session. Could everyone ensure they're connected properly? We have a lot to cover today. I'd appreciate it if we could start with a quick update from each team leader. Let's open the floor with your thoughts on our new project initiative. Can we get the ball rolling with some initial thoughts on the draft proposal circulated yesterday? To get things moving, let's tackle the first item on our list. I'd like to set the stage for today's discussion with a few key points. If everyone is ready, let's launch into today's main topic. Let's activate our cameras for a more engaged discussion, shall we? I'd like to steer this meeting towards our goals for the month. So let's get started. Situation 2. Requesting opinions and asking questions. I'd love to pick your brains on the new marketing strategy. What's everyone's take on the current project timeline? Could we get some insights from the sales team on this? Does anyone have a bone to pick with the proposed changes? I'm eager to hear what the R&D team thinks about this innovation. Can we circle back to that point, John? Your expertise would be valuable here. What are your 2 cents on the matter, Sarah? Could someone shed some light on the issue with our vendor? I'd like to tap into your knowledge about the market trends discussed earlier. Has anyone else encountered this problem before? Any suggestions on how to proceed? Can we hash out the details of the contract during today's call? Does this align with everyone's expectations, or are there any red flags? Could I tease out more thoughts from anyone who hasn't spoken yet? Who can unpack the data presented in the last slide? Can we have a quick show of hands on who agrees with this approach? Is there a consensus on this, or do we need to drill down further? Are there any dissenting opinions we need to address? Who would like to chime in with their views on the budget allocation? Can we have a quick pulse check on how everyone feels about moving forward with this plan? Would anyone like to spotlight any potential issues before we proceed? Situation 3. Problem solving and requesting support. We've hit a snag with the software upgrade. Any tech-savvy folks available to assist? There seems to be a bottleneck with our supply chain. Ideas on how to streamline this process? We're at a crossroads with the project direction. Can we brainstorm some alternative paths? The client has thrown us a curveball with their latest request. How can we tackle this efficiently? Let's troubleshoot the issue with the quarterly report discrepancies. We're facing a hiccup with a new software deployment. Can the IT team weigh in? Does anyone have a quick fix for the login issue some users are experiencing? We need to iron out the kinks in our communication strategy. Thoughts? Can we devise a plan to overcome the current hurdles in client engagement? It looks like we're spinning our wheels with this approach. Shall we consider alternatives? Who can help dissect the reasons behind our recent dip in sales? Let's not beat around the bush. How do we address the elephant in the room, which is budget overrun? Can we pinpoint the root cause of the delay in project delivery? We need to patch up our relationship with global tech solutions. Any suggestions on how to mend fences? There's been a mix-up with the shipment numbers. Can we sort this out? We're in a tight spot with the audit discrepancies. Expert advice needed. Who can spearhead the task force to tackle this regulatory challenge? We're grappling with low morale in the team. How can we turn this around? It's time to get our ducks in a row for the upcoming audit. Who can lead the charge? We need to cut through the red tape to expedite our product launch. Any navigators? Situation 4. Mid-meeting summaries and conclusions. Let's circle the wagons and recap what's been covered so far. To sum up, we've agreed on several key points. Let me enumerate them for clarity. Before we move forward, let's ensure we're all singing from the same hymn sheet. Can we take a step back and look at the big picture for a moment? I think a summary at this juncture would be beneficial for all. Here are the main takeaways. Let's wrap up this section before we jump into the next. It's a good time to touch base on our progress. Here's where we stand. Let's pivot our discussion to reflect on what we've accomplished in this meeting. To bring everyone up to speed, here's a quick rundown of today's key points. As we near the halfway mark, let's take stock of our decisions and outstanding items. Let's pause here and regroup. What are the lingering questions? Can we consolidate our thoughts on this topic before proceeding? Before we break, let's align our next steps and confirm everyone's understanding. Let's crystallize the outcomes of this discussion and agree on our action points. It might be prudent to recap the goals we've set during this meeting. Let's reaffirm our commitments before moving to the next agenda item. As a recap, here are the strides we've made today and the gaps we still need to address. Let's make sure we're all on the same page with the project timelines discussed. Before we adjourn, let's clarify any ambiguities that remain. Let's nail down the specifics of what we've discussed and ensure there's no room for confusion. Situation 5. Ending the meeting and expressing gratitude. As we draw this meeting to a close, I want to express my appreciation for everyone's hard work. Thank you all for your active participation today. It's been a fruitful discussion. I'd like to wrap this up by thanking each of you for your insightful contributions. Let's call it a day and regroup in our next session. Thanks for your dedication. I'm grateful for the robust dialogue we had today. Let's carry this momentum forward. Thanks for sticking it out through a lengthy agenda. Your perseverance is appreciated. I appreciate everyone's efforts to stay engaged and provide valuable feedback. Let's adjourn for now, but please feel free to reach out if anything needs further discussion. Thank you for your attention and engagement today. Let's continue to keep the lines of communication open. It's been a pleasure to lead today's discussion. Thank you all for your contributions. I value the ideas and perspectives shared today. Let's follow up on these critical points. Your input has been crucial in shaping our path forward. Thanks for sharing. Let's end on a high note. Thanks for the great teamwork, and see you all next week. Thank you for navigating through these complex issues with us today. Your commitment to our goals is evident, and I thank you for that. As we conclude, remember that your efforts are key to our success. Thank you. Let's wrap this up with a note of thanks to everyone for a job well done. Appreciate your time today, everyone. Let's keep pushing the envelope. Thanks for the constructive debate. It's vital for our continuous improvement. Thank you for your energy and focus today. It's made a real difference.